Of the Federal University of Lafia, Professor Shehu Abdul Rahman, Deputy Vice-Chancellors of the University here seated, the University Registrar, Provosts of the Colleges of Medicine and Postgraduate Studies, our respected Deans and Directors, Heads of Department, esteemed members of the University Senate here seated, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the inauguration of the newly appointed Deans and Deputy Deans of the faculties of Federal University of Lafia. May I invite all of us in the tradition of the university to use a moment and pray for the success of this inauguration ceremony. Amen. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, sir, distinguished members of the university here present this morning, I have the singular honor to introduce to you those that will be inaugurated this morning, our newly appointed deans and deputy deans of faculties. If I have the Vice-Chancellor's permission, I will first and foremost introduce to you the newly appointed Chairman of the Committee of Provosts, Deans and Directors of the Federal University of Lafia, Professor Muhammad Isa Kida. Since joining the services of this university, Professor Kida has served as the Private Director of Lafia Government Limited, Dean of the Faculty of Social Sciences and Management Sciences, and also the Head of the Department of Accounting. He is current Dean, Faculty of Management Sciences. We would like to also introduce the Deputy Dean of the Faculty, Dr. Bijani Ahmed Ajayi, is here. Dr. Ajayi is the Deputy Dean of the Faculty of Management Sciences. We have Professor Al-Hassan Usman as the Deputy Dean, Faculty of Agriculture, Prof. Please come and the Deputy Dean of that faculty is Dr. Abdul Rahman. We have the Faculty of Arts, Acting Dean, Dr. Adam Al-Amin Abdullahi. We have the Deputy Dean of that faculty, Dr. Joseph Ezekiel Ibuje. For the Faculty of Allied Health Sciences, we have Professor Sirajuddin Junaid as the Dean. And the Deputy Dean is Dr. Joseph Zira. We have for Faculty of Basic Medical Sciences, Dr. Ahmed Muhammad Rabi. For the Faculty of Basic Clinical Sciences, Acting Dean, Dr. Mary Matthew. For the Faculty of Clinical Sciences, we have Professor Shehu Abdul Rahman and the Dean. For Faculty of Computing, we have Acting Dean, Dr. Shehu. For Faculty of Education, we have the Dean as Professor Abdul Rahman, and the Deputy Dean is Dr. Adaka Atika. Faculty of Environmental Design has Professor Ibrahim Odin Hassan as the Dean. Deputy Dean of the Faculty of Environmental Design is Dr. Chinazon. Faculty of Science, we have Dean as Professor Matthew Arena. And the Deputy Dean of the Faculty is Professor Ibrahim Khalil Adam. Faculty of Social Sciences, we have as Dean Professor George Bain. And the Deputy Dean of the Faculties, Dr. Aisha Chidori. Deputy Dean of the Faculty of Clinical Science is Dr. Mohammed Muzina. We congratulate you all, and on this note, I would like to invite for the opening remarks the Registrar of the University, Bala Burodimak.
The Vice-Chancellor Administration, the Deputy Vice-Chancellor of Research and Partnership, outgoing deans, the newly elected deans and deputy deans, our respected Senate members, others invited guests, good morning. Members of Senate may wish to report that the Senate at the 83 regular meeting held on Thursday, 26 July 2024, approved the guidelines for election of deans of faculties. The election to the office of the deans of faculty were conducted across the university on Thursday, 10th October 2024, as enshrined in the guidelines. I would like to welcome each and every one of you to this special event. I am extremely pleased to welcome our outgoing deans and deputy deans who have served the university diligently, and those as well who have been elected or appointed recently. This day, as I'm sure most of you will know, marks the first inauguration of elected deans of faculty, and it is a proud moment for all of us that our university will hold this inauguration at this spectacular place with all of us. I sincerely express our profound gratitude to the Vice-Chancellor for making this inauguration a reality. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to all staff of the faculties who contributed in the election process and making this inauguration a success. I want to thank everyone who contributed in one way or the other towards this event. It wouldn't have been possible without the support of all. In today's event, our focus is on all those newly elected or appointed deans of faculties. You have been elected or appointed because you displayed mutual passion and a spirit to work for the university in close association with everyone. Everyone needs everyone here to be able to work towards the growth of the university, and that's why it's called for a celebration. On this note, the Vice-Chancellor, sir, permit me to call on the names of the elected deans and deputy deans as well as the appointed deans of the faculty to receive their letters from you. Yeah. Faculty of Education, Professor Abdul Rahman is here. Faculty of Clinical Science, Professor Shehu Abdul Rahman. Faculty of Environmental Design, Professor Inaugurates. Faculty of Health Science, Professor Faculty of Management Sciences, Professor Muhammad Isa Gida. Faculty of Science, Professor Matthew Arim. Faculty of Social Sciences, Professor George Egayi. Acting Dean, Faculty of Arts, Dr. Adamu Alamin Abdullahi. Faculty of Basic Clinical Science, Dr. Mary Matthew. Faculty of Basic Medical Science, Dr. Ahmed Mohamed Rabiu. Faculty of Computing, Dr. Musha Kajo. Deputy Dean, Faculty of Agri, Dr. Abdullah Ibrahim Jaji. Faculty of Clinical Sciences, Dr. Mahmoud Ozegia. Faculty of Education, Dr. Adaka Tafa. Faculty of Environmental Design, Dr. Chike Chinazo. Faculty of Health Science, Dr. Lema Zira Joseph. Faculty of Management Sciences, Dr. Tijani Ahmed Ajayi. Faculty of Science, Dr. Ibrahim Khalil Adam. Faculty of Social Sciences, Dr. Mrs. Aisha Ibrahim Aziz. We have also professors that are recently appointed into centers. We have Center for Security Studies, Professor Muhammad Al-Ali. Last Center for Local Economic Development, Dr. Jude Onwoka. Chairman, Committee of Provosts, Deans and Directors, Professor Muhammad Isa Kida.
Thank you very much. Mrs. I request that all those who are already. Ladies and gentlemen, I will present our President and congratulate our new Congratulations, and please take your seat. We request you to please sign the original copy and submit to Mr. Deputy. Comrades of the Korean. Please welcome yourself. May I most respectfully invite the Vice-Chancellor, University of Lafia, Prof. Shehu Abdul Rahman.
Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Academic Affairs, we are in the days era, that's what I'm Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Administration, Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Staff and Partnership, the Registrar, all the deans, provosts, directors, professors, head of departments, and all members of the Senate here present. I welcome all of us to this very important occasion. And I want to start by saluting all of us in all the faculties for the way we conducted ourselves in the last elections of deans of faculty. And let me also use this opportunity to appreciate our union, ASU, for the kind of pressure given on me to see that we have democratization of this position. And to me, I would say that this democratization is a blessing to Federal University of Lafia. It's a blessing in 2 weeks. The first is that it has enabled us to have clear pictures of ourselves, of our environment. Because so many things emanated during the process of this democratization. And I know that now, all of us at all levels must have learned one lesson or the other. The second aspect of the benefit is that it has reduced my own workload in picking leaders for faculties. Some people may look at it, what kind of load? You will know that it is not easy to pick a leader for any faculty. And the reason is because before democratization, we can see how some faculties were so busy. And to the extent that we have to correct a lot of things. So this is to tell you that I personally, as a chief executive of this university, before I pick any leader for any faculty, a lot of factors have to be considered. But we thank God that democratization has come to stay, despite some of the challenges in it. But we know they are all there every day. And in this case, I'm not being here to blame anybody, because it is not my responsibility to blame. But it is my responsibility to be proactive and creative in my decision making. And I know throughout this democratization process, I have done that. Now, We have leaders, whether as acting names or deputy names in various faculties. But what I want you to know, that your title does not make you a leader. Your title does not make you a leader. What makes you a leader is your vision. Some of you are days now. If you don't have vision for the faculty, go and create one and let it guide everybody in the faculty. The second thing that makes you a leader is your integrity. You must cultivate that habit of somebody that is having integrity. The other one is your action. Your action must bring progress, must bring unity and peace in the various faculties. The next thing that makes a leader is your empathy. You are here to take care of people under you in the faculty. You are not just a leader to command and controlling. At any point in time, you should observe situations around those that you are leading, and you should be able to show some empathy. The next that will be a leader is the communication. Your communication should be clear, and people should understand where they are going. Because if they do not, you'll be going in one direction and you'll go in the other. And at the end, you'll not be on the same page. The other one is your accountability. You must be ready at any point in time to defend your decision. And for you to do that, make sure you work as a team in your faculty and keep records of your activities. That is the only thing that can make you to be accountable. The next thing I want to advise those of us that are leaders in this university is for us to also seek acceptability. It is not when it is time for this election. We will not be moving here and there, bringing all sorts of strategies from the beginning, trying to see how you can be accepted. Acceptability again can only come when you create influence around yourself. And leadership is about influencing and not commanding. If you are the type that control or commanding as a leader, it will be very difficult for you to gain this acceptability. And when I say you should influence, it means you should inspire people. That means show good example. You are the one leading. The next is for you to motivate, creating a level environment for the people. And next is also empowering them. Empowerment here doesn't mean you have to give them money. It doesn't mean for you to create job for them. But if you create a situation where value be added to people, you are empowering them. If you organize training alone, you are empowering people. If somebody comes to your office as a leader, you are advising, you are empowering people. There are some leaders that if you go to their office, you don't come out the same way you went in. That is leader. They will give you certain information that will add value to you, add value to your knowledge. You get more information about how you carry out certain activity to improve yourself. That is empowerment. And it is also good for you people that are now deans of faculties to encourage your faculty to develop what we call leadership formula. Leadership formula is going to help your faculty to know who should be dean after another person. And to me, as a person, whenever I got deans to various faculty, I use what we call leadership formula. And that is why when I come to most of the occasions, I mention that leadership is about capacity and character. That is the formula I use. And when I say capacity, it depends on what individual needs as capacity. But in our own case here, knowledge is part of the capacity, experience is part of the capacity. Even though sometimes some people translate experience to seniority, but it's not all cases that experience can be equated to seniority. And that is why in some cases I appoint people that are junior, either in the department or in faculty, to hold certain positions. And some seniors there will start complaining. Those are the people that equate seniority with experience. And it's not the same. Somebody can spend 30 years in the university, but the experience somebody with 10 years has, the person with 30 years will not have. It depends on how you utilize your time while you are working in the university. There are many people that will be in the university system, most of the academic activities that they don't take time to know about some of these things. There are people today you ask in this university to even give you the accurate name of certain program in the university. They don't know, apart from their own faculty. So these are some of the things that will count. And your soft skill is also part of your capacity. And your wisdom is also part of it. And when you go to the issue of the character, the humility, patience, and your personal values or personal standards, these are some of the things I consider. And there is nothing wrong for every faculty to state their own leadership formula. And you use it in assessing individual in your faculty whenever it is time for any election. Use it to know who should be the best to be your dean. Apart from that, you can also have what we call the leadership framework in the faculty. You define clearly the stakeholders. There are people that you should identify that can sit the dean down to tell the truth when anything is going wrong in the faculty. But many faculties don't have this. Even in this university, I've created Professor Forum. And the Professor Forum, the major reason why I created that is for them at a point to sit the Vice-Chancellor down and say, these are the things that are going wrong. And these are the things that are pending for us to do. Even though I'm not seeing those challenges. Sometimes I have to be the one to go to a professor forum and tell them we should do this, we should do that. But the purpose of professor forum in this university is for us to call the management action to certain things. And it's part of the thing that every unit of the university should have. There should be strategic meetings that should be so crucial on many things. There should be mechanism for risk assessment. There should be a way of also assessing credibility of your leaders. All these are part of the leadership framework that every faculty should have. So it will be good if we learn from what has happened, and now that we have things in place based on the election, I believe every faculty will go and sit down and bring out their own leadership formula, leadership framework, so that will help them whenever there is any election. There is nothing wrong, even at any faculty board, for the team given the responsibility to carry out the credibility assessment of the team, to present reports. and the faculty board. There are nothing wrong about that. So that people should know whether the faculty is leading or you are staying behind. Because it is the responsibility of also every faculty to lead. You should lead other faculties. But when within your faculty you have no leaders, then it is very difficult for the faculty to lead other faculties in the system. So it is high time we try to organize ourselves and know what the responsibility of leaders. And for some of us, there are certain things I will mention here which should be guiding our decision making. The first is that we should also recognize the power of a single decision. All of us as leaders, we make countless decisions every day. But you find out that sometimes one decision may change a lot of things. And you must also take note of that. Because when you can observe a very critical decision as a leader is very important. You can be taking so many decisions, but one may change a lot of things. Again, gathering and seeking diverse perspectives on issues. Don't do it alone. You don't know everything. And effective decision making requires a deep understanding of the situation at hand. And you alone cannot get information that is enough to do that. So leaders should gather as much information as possible and seek out the insight of others. And even those with whom we disagree, even those that we are not in agreement with the faculty, they are part of the system, they are stakeholders. You cannot do away with them because they are also assets to the system. And you should also consider the long-term consequences of your decision making. Consider the long-term consequences of your actions. And what I'm saying here, use wisdom in anything you want to do. Because something that gives you positive result today, if wisdom is not used, tomorrow it will give you a negative result. So great leaders always consider the long-term implication of their decision. This is very important for all the days of faculty. You should be willing to take risks. Some of the most consequential decisions in history were made by leaders who are willing to take calculated risks. And when I say calculated risks, you should be able to know the level of damage that certain risks can cause. Because there is no decision that you take that has no risk. If you are choosing between two things, A and B, if you choose A, it has no risk. If you choose B, it has no risk. But the most important thing is for you to choose which of the options has less risk. And if you refuse to take any of the two, there is risk in it. So it's better to decide. So this is very important for all of us. And not be afraid to also change your mind. Leaders should be flexible and adaptable, willing to adjust when there is need. Because there are people that felt when they take decision, the decision is final. Even when the decision is taking the system in the wrong direction, they find it difficult to say, oh, let us reverse. Because they consider themselves as leaders that can never make mistakes. And this is wrong. It is better we should not be afraid of any change. You should learn from your mistake. Everyone makes mistakes. But great leaders learn from them. If you are making mistake, try to learn from your mistake. Don't let your ego also get into your decision, because ego is a liability. Only few leaders do that. So your mobility is essential for you in your effective decision. Communication is also another very serious thing which most leaders underrate. You should communicate your decision effectively to avoid confusion. Once a decision has been made, it is important to communicate it clearly and concisely to those who will be affected by it. This will help to reduce confusion and build trust. And that is why I paid an apology recently here, because it's also part of the communication gap. Be decisive in terms of crisis or uncertainty. Leaders need to be able to make quick and decisive decisions. Don't wait until something spoils before you can now try to react. It is cheaper and safer to be proactive than for you to be reactive. If you want to be reactive, you waste more money, more energy, because you are going to make some repairs. But when you prevent something from happening, that is the best option. And don't be afraid to delegate. We have seen many people in various positions that want to do it alone. They want to be in all occasions, all events, just to pronounce themselves, oh, I'm gay, I want me to be known as gay everywhere. That is not the essence why we are in that position. So you should be delegating. You should know what activities your deputy needs to handle for you. Because many of us, when it comes to the issue of money, we change. You hide those activities where money is involved, and everywhere there is nothing to push your deputy in there. But if you have a wide deputy, why can't you do it like this? But then, delegation is very important. Whatever that is attached to it, just be free to delegate. Leaders cannot do everything themselves. So it is important to delegate tasks to others. This will free up your time so that you are more focused to the most important decisions. You should create a culture of feedback. A culture of feedback will help you to ensure that you are making sound decisions. Because when you decide to take action, you are not reaching out to get feedback. Before you know that your action or decision is making damages, then a lot of things have gone wrong. So it is good for you to reach out to your staff to know the impact of the decision you have made. If you cannot know on your own, send people to find out certain things for you. And when they bring information back to you, it will guide you in your subsequent decision making. And never stop learning. The world is constantly changing. So leaders need to be lifelong learners. They should read books, attend conferences, and talk to other leaders. There should be a room, and that's why we have Committee of Provosts and Directors. We should be having frequent meetings, sharing ideas from the various faculties. This is part of the way of learning. But most of us today, we stick to our faculty, and sometimes I hardly receive reports of Committee of this and Director in office. Yeah, these are the reasons why some of these committees exist. So that leaders, the deans can learn from themselves. You need to cultivate that habit of doing that. You have to stay updated on the latest trends, whether in your faculty, your department, or in and you should also be authentic. Leaders who are genuine and authentic will be more trusted and respected by their followers. This will create a more positive and productive work environment. Don't be a fake leader, where in presence of your people you say different and when you go elsewhere you say another thing. So in this case, people will not trust you. And if it is a system where credibility assessment is being done, such leader can fail. And you should have a vision for the future. Anything you want to do in your faculty in terms of actual decision, future is more important. If you are not thinking of future in any of your decisions, that is a very great mistake. Because great leaders have a clear vision for the future of their organization. This vision will inspire and motivate others to follow you. So we also lead with integrity. Leaders who are honest and ethical will build a strong foundation of trust for their unit. This will attract and retain top talent, and it will make it easier to whether you are facing any challenge, you can easily overcome that. These are just some of my messages to all of us here that are directors, deans, head of department, acting dean, and deputy deans. I want to use this opportunity to wish all of you a very successful tenure, and with this my address I hereby invited all the deans, acting deans, and deputy deans. Congratulations to all of you. And I would like to also congratulate us for achieving two things, which we are to mention here. ASU of this university, in fact, is a caring association. Because right from the beginning, they stress the need for democratization. And for me, from the day of my adoption of duty, not that I don't want this democratization, but I observe that we are not yet mature for it. But now, we are mature for it, even though our maturity is not 100%, because some faculty has to still learn from others. But we cannot wait for all the faculties to be mature before we start democratization. But from what has happened, I think our maturity is almost 80%. And I want to congratulate us. The second achievement by ASU is that there are some of our colleagues, the younger academics, that we are stagnated because of a clause in our guidelines that anybody that is on study leave cannot enjoy promotion. And that has made some of our staff to be stagnated for almost 6 years, 5 years, some 7 years. So ASU brought this case to my table. In fact, we constituted a series of committees to look at that. And one committee now helped us out with a recommendation. I think that committee was chaired by Professor that anybody on study leave should enjoy one promotion. So I want to thank that committee, the chair of that committee, and the members. That particular recommendation, I held on to that, and I was trying to see which time that particular recommendation can be applied. I constituted another committee, and we brought off we did not get anything very tangible to hold on, because I wanted to see if I can get two things. Then the last committee constituted also brought their reports, and I felt this clause that every academic staff that is custodially enjoying one promotion, we need to now look for how we can present it to council. In the last council, we were able to make that presentation, and thank God council approved it. And what the council did that is even more wonderful than what we did, that the council advised that clause to be approved in retrospect, so that effective implementation of it should be from 2022. And in this case, there are some of our staff affected, and some of them were promoted in 2023. But because of this clause, their promotion will be effective 2022. And those that are promoted this year, 2024, the effective day of their promotion will be 2023. And there are those that are expecting their promotion in 2025, were effective their promotion in this year, 2024. So, even though we were able to tell the council that these people have lost much time than we are reducing for them. Somebody lost 3 years, 4 years, but we don't feel that to show empathy, we should reduce the pain. And that is why we recommended that 1 year adjustment should be for all of them. And I want to announce here we have about 25 of them, and all of them, their cases went through successfully. So in order to use this opportunity to appreciate us for their understanding, for their patience, that is why I asked the registrar to bring the letters of promotion of these people to this gathering, so that as they give me the letter, I think the House Chairman will have me to do the pushing because you push us Chairman to bring the request. Now that the reply is ready, I will give the House Chairman, I will push him to give you your respect. So we are going down to do that. Thank you much. The man for the case of 2022, Moses Mba Anayo, if he's not around, he's not around, so we're waiting for him. Those that their promotion start from 2023, we have Dr. Akomalafe Mega Festus. We have Mohammed Mustafa Adejo. We have Dr. A.K. Christopher Ifeanyi. Mohammed Ahmed Ashiga. Ebute Jonathan. Mustafa Abubakar Babagana. Dr. Mohammed Alhaji Mohammed. Dr. Mohammed Sali, Department of Physics. Dr. Abdul Karim Mohammed Hamza, Physics Department. Luca Boni Michael. Ms. Akaka Dushima. Ms. Akaka Dushima Teresa. These are cases of 2024. Hassan Ibrahim, Department of Mathematics. Dr. Obande Godwin Ata. Dr. Adamude Alice. Mr. Monday Nwako. Dr. Kalu Onyankachi. Dr. Tena Tansuko. This one, please, invite this for me. Canavas. Oh, sorry. These are the people that we consider for promotion in 2025 instead of 2026. So we are calling their name Dr. Akemaye Collins. Dr. Motusola Christiana Owosei. Dr. Joseph Omojola. Dr. Ayomide Hassan. Dr. Al-Hassan Abdul Karim. I think the Vice-Chancellor deserve better. I think they deserve better because I want to put our hands together.
Thank you very much. One of the rules of the leader is to prioritize the pay for welfare of the staff. I think the Vice-Chancellor has initiated this. Please come and put our hands together. One time for the Vice-Chancellor. I would like to congratulate those beneficiaries. We'd like to also plead that you sign the acknowledgement copy and return it to Mr. David. We are this now. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, may I invite the Chairman, Committee of Provosts, Deans and Directors of the University, Professor Mohammed for the acceptance speech.
Thank you. The Vice-Chancellor of the University of Lafia, I always mention that also he is the Chief Executive Officer of Federal University of Lafia, the mentor of all of us here in this gathering. When I was appointed here as an associate professor in the Department of Economics to service all those accounting courses that are taught in the university at that time, because we didn't have Department of Accounting. I stayed for almost 4 years. I've not seen this kind of gesture made by the Vice-Chancellor. In every gathering, in every event that is called in this university, whether for professors or other categories of staff, or whether for the entire members of the university, I have not seen the mentorship coming out of it until when I returned and I discovered that the office of the Vice-Chancellor has a lot more to do than what I've seen in the times I was around. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished colleagues, the Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Academic Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Admin, the Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Partnership, the Registrar of the University, the Librarian, the ASU Chair, on whom the Vice-Chancellor have noted this gathering is honored. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished colleagues, and honored guests, have some invited guests amongst us here. I stand before you today humbled and honored to accept this noble responsibility to chair the Committee of Provosts and Deans and Directors of this university this time around. On behalf of all appointed members, I express our deepest gratitude to the Vice-Chancellor and the University Council for this confidence imposed in us. We all together acknowledge the immense trust and responsibility that comes with this position, and pledge to work tirelessly to advance the university and the university's mission and vision. I promise you at this juncture, Vice-Chancellor, that we will, without fear or favor, ensure that we resolve your affair. Because every event you anchored in the university, if you have to talk, your worry is the most senior, especially the professors, to depict to the world that they are professors, to also mentor their younger colleagues to be good professors. So I promise you, even as my predecessor, the immediate class chair had left a big shoe, as I saw it from the responses on the university website, where the committee's platform, where she signed her exile. And all those that responded, 98% of your members, maybe you didn't take time to check, they responded that you chaired well, and that I want the Vice-Chancellor to note that, and the principal officers of the entire gathering here to note that she had worked well, she has chaired well, and I promise the Vice-Chancellor that even though she has left a very big, mighty issue, with the caliber of people, with the training they have received, vigorous and rigorous ones, we assure you that we will feel together, feel the issue she has left. You will not leave any vacuum, because this is a system and you have not left, you are still with us. Thank you. As we embark on objectives, we will not hesitate to come to the Vice-Chancellor all the time if we are in need of the Vice-Chancellor's assistance. To my colleagues, the VC has challenged us, and the outgoing chair, as I said, has done her own part incredibly well. So, as she has chaired so well, those who have responded to her acknowledge that we will ensure that, as I've said, we will ensure that we continue to fill that gap. With all and sundry who have come here to witness this inauguration, we are grateful to all of you. We also finally want to call all of us to pray for us. Those that have left us, there are almost all of them are good ones, especially the Dean of Arts. We will miss his, I don't think we will miss him because he's now a director and still going back. We will miss his intellectual contribution on the platform all the time. Dr. Jibrin also is a manipulate and fearless soldier. He is also a director, he's still within the committee. We will not miss him. And the big madam, my mommy, she's here. I'm sure the Vice-Chancellor, please, if there are bolts and knots, kindly help us to tie her leg so that she don't go, because she's agitated that she wants to leave. I have senior colleagues here who will continue to count on their experiences and support. The Dean of the Deputy Vice-Chancellor, admin, I say so because he's the Provost of the College of Medicine, and then the Provost of Postgraduate School, Professor Duga, and all other members here. Everybody is very important. Professor Kwandoni is here. Very senior colleagues are here. Upcoming young colleagues and professors. On that note, we urge that please pray for us to deliver as most of our programs, proposed programs, will be unleashed in our meetings. We have also had that I noted, that we have not been having sufficient meetings this time around. We will schedule a regular meeting, as I have seen in many of the universities. Before Senate, Provost and Deans must meet and then make their submission to the Vice-Chancellor and present it at the Senate. These are some of the things we will do to engineer the committee. I thank you very much. I thank every one of us here. Finally, on behalf of all the members, I wish to reiterate again that we have accepted to hold these offices diligently and respectfully. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That was the acceptance speech by the new Chairman, Committee of Provosts, Deans and Directors of the University, Professor Mohammed Isaki. Ladies and gentlemen, let me invite again to the microphone the Vice-Chancellor, Prof. Shehu Abdul Rahman.
I also use this opportunity to announce to us here that those that their tenure ended today, actually my intention was to also present a letter of appreciation and commendation to them here, but the letter is not ready. But I want to use this opportunity to tell us that the former Dean of Social Sciences, former Dean of Education, former Dean of Faculty of Arts, former Dean of Environmental Design, we have a letter of appreciation and commendation for you. And this is to let you know that the university did not forget the value addition you have made to this university. And to also let you know that you are also a great asset to the system. And I know the new days will be consulting you and so that you share your experience with them. When the letter is ready, I think registrar will send them to you. But I'm using the opportunity on behalf of the university management to appreciate you and to commend you for all you have done for this university. And I know some of you are still rendering some very important services to the system. And to all of us, whether teaching or not teaching staff, the promotion letters are ready. Registrar will issue them out. So this is to tell us that in this university we don't have arrears of promotion. And for those that they need to undergo external assessment, I've also asked the registrar to send letters to them so that they can send copy of their CV and publication for internal assessment for prima facie to be established. And once that one is done, in the next 2 weeks or so, the professorial assessment panel will meet to know which of these papers should go out for external assessment. And I promise you, before the end of this year, all those papers, depending on the submission, will go out. So, we are promising possibly the first meeting of council next year. We are going to present those that are qualified to be promoted to associate professor and professor. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I will still have to make a passionate plea that everybody sitting in this room, please stand up and greet our Vice-Chancellor. A standing ovation. I am very, very happy today. Not particularly because today is my birthday. But because we are seeing history being made. What we are doing easily on this campus today is something we can't imagine in other campuses. I think for almost 2 years, as a chairman of us, I've interacted with my colleagues from other campuses. And I know that they don't have the opportunity of enjoying this kind of leadership. Everything that has happened here, I give the honor to our Vice-Chancellor. My Vice-Chancellor, sir, principal officers of the university, I acknowledge your presence. Let me congratulate our deans, our new deans. Now we have democracy on our campus. We could still defeat the democracy, we could still defeat the democracy. But like I told other union leaders before this time, if there's anything we need to get as a union in this university, we have to get them under our current Vice-Chancellor. Because I am not alone. Professor Shehu Abdul Rahman has long said that the problem with Nigeria is leadership. So if we have good leader in Federal University of Lafia, then we are an exceptional university, and we are just simply very lucky. This is, I think, very, very much. I want to congratulate our new deans. Democracy is not all about election. You have been elected democratically. It is also another level for you to democratize activities of your faculties. We don't want people that will become dictators when they become deans or faculties. You should know that from now, we, the people, we, the union members of us, will be deciding whether you will continue or even get access to that office. And you really don't have a problem because you have somebody to copy from. Like I said a long time ago, on this campus now, suddenly we no longer have busy boys. Everybody is a boy of the Vice-Chancellor now. We no longer have issues of religion or appointment or whatever. It looks like a lot of us are not noticing the dramatic changes that have come to this campus. Issues of religion, nobody is hearing anything about. You are appointing somebody because he's this and that. It has gone. So as deans, you will do a lot, but you don't have much because you simply copy the Vice-Chancellor and you run a very good faculty for yourself. I want to also thank the deans that have left, especially my dean, the first dean of the Faculty of the Social Sciences, Professor Jibril. I think like the Vice-Chancellor noted, he set the tone for one of the major things that brought us to here today. Prof, I thank you very, very much, sir. Thank you very much. Like we always say, the struggle continues. Today, it is an opportunity for me to inform everybody. We have a very large turnout here now. Please, I want this number to also be at the Faculty of Arts by 12 o'clock. You may choose not to come, but we now, you probably are not aware that there is democracy here. Now, there will be election at every 2 years, and we will decide whether you are supposed to be a dean or not. And so there's no pretense about it. If you are not coming to national congresses and you are a professor, just know that we will not be voting for you if you aspire to come. Yes, we will not be voting for you because we don't know what you are going to be doing there. So please, the Congress day is very, very crucial. We want all of you here, please. Please. Vice-Chancellor, thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. And I keep saying that it is only God that will reward your effort. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. As a Vice-Chancellor, the ASU chairman is going to be a man of few words, but I'm surprised that he has to speak longer than he used to. I want to thank you, sir, for that wonderful goodwill message. Please, can we put our hands together for him? We appreciate it. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, we have 3 people that will give goodwill messages. Professor Kwandon.
Particularly in respect of cost of transportation. So we are trying to meet with unions officials in this university so that we can arrive at something moderate that will reduce our number of days coming to work. I've already discussed that with the ASU chairman that some of us, the academy, instead of coming to office maybe 5 days a week, we may reduce it to 3 or 2. But the only way we can achieve this is to make sure that we also teach from our houses. So now that we have a robust e-learning facilities in place, you can decide if you are meeting your student twice a week. One lecture can be physical, while one should be virtual. So we have to arrange this. We have to make it ASU, if possible, form a committee right from ASU level that will go to all the faculties. Course by course, we are going to identify how people can reduce their number of days on campus for any physical activity. That of non-teaching, we are already discussing with registrars how to achieve that. Maybe where you have 4 people in offices, maybe 2 should come for 2 days or 3 days. And we are going to do it in such a way that nothing will be lost. Nothing will be lost. So the day you are in office, if you have been doing work of 20%, you should know that that very day you are in office, you will do 40%. So people have to be very serious when they are in their various offices. But for the non-teaching staff, registrar is already thinking of what model is going to present to NAS and SAM so that they can also look at it. And because we have to all collectively agree. By the time we are implementing it, whatever guideline we put in place, everybody must abide by it. But this is just to reduce the pain we are facing in this crisis of cost of food. Thank you very much.
Maybe we will extend this the time for this meeting, sir, so that you can think of another program in us. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate it. Let me invite Professor Emmanuel for.
My persuasion was based on the conviction that what was going on was going to be fruitful. And I think I've been vindicated. Even without any form of doubt, I encourage him that I'm sure that proposal was going to get through. And we appreciate you for, I'm sure there is a lot of life from many of our colleagues here who did not have the privilege of being promoted for so many years. And many of them fell under the category of foundational staff. And I think it's a very big motivation. Many people that came after them became their seniors. And I think it's a very good motivation, and I'd like to also add my voice to congratulating ASU for driving this process. I think I remember in one of the ASU meetings where this issue was raised, and I think right from when the current dean or acting dean of the Faculty of Arts was the branch chair, and we started pushing it then from there, and we are happy that it has seen the light of day. And I would like to also congratulate the ASU leadership for leading us well to achieve this objective. Then secondly, the leaders that have been elected and those appointed, I would like to also add my voice in congratulating all of you. And as leaders, I think it's inevitable that you will be a leader without facing difficult moments. I think the Vice-Chancellor tried to describe it as, when he was talking about the risk of taking a decision, to such an extent that you are afraid whether it will be a type 1 error. And however, it is important that you must take risks. Whether you like it or not, but the risk must not compromise our institutional goals. The risk that we need to take must promote the institutional goals of this university. And I think as a dean, I can attest to that, and I can assure you that you will come live with such situations. And what will guide you is your moral conscience of sticking to our very, very unique core values of integrity and excellence. So I think on that note, I would like to congratulate you and to say that there is something that the Vice-Chancellor described as a leadership formula. And I'd like to add, sir, that interestingly, one of the things that should make us to be sustainable in this leadership is how you drive the strategic plans that are in the faculties. You will need to drive those plans, and it is in driving those plans that you will not deviate, and then there will be a form of sustainability in the actions that we will carry out as leaders in the faculty. There is need for strategic visioning, and even if there is need for you to alter or suggest an alteration of the strategic plan, let it be done in a democratic manner that the faculties have now come to stay. And I mean, by every faculty should have a faculty strategic planning committee as well as an implementation committee, so that you pick up each of the strategic directions that you have and let it be that it is being used to the letter. And then lastly, someone tried to say here that we are in a democracy, and from what is happening in many other campuses, the politics that is happening in our secular system is infiltrating the campus democracy, and we should try to avoid that. And what do I mean? It's very strong and based on what? On a planning, succession planning. And it will help us to avoid rancor, even as there is a transition from one person to another. There is need for us to understand that. And it is very, very easy for us to implement it as academics if we are all coming up together to build up an understanding that this is what we want to achieve. It is very, very easy for a faculty to just sit down and decide this person is going to take over from the person that is there, because we all know ourselves. So as to avoid the temptation of having this kind of politicking that can create a lot of bad blood and unnecessary rancor among ourselves. I want to believe that your appointment today will change the perspective of your various faculties. As a former dean, I can tell you, you will need to be decisive to run your faculties. I also happen to have chaired the Committee of Deans and Directors when we had barely 4 faculties, as well as about 8 both academic and non-academic directorates. But I can tell you that even at that time, to take up a decision requires a lot of commitment on you, the chair of the committee. So for my brother Kida, I wish you good luck and pray that the necessary wisdom that you and all others will need to implement the objectives of your various faculties will be guided with fairness. Thank you very much.
Newly appointed and elected deans, distinguished colleagues. Let me start with the issue of the welfare. I think you are just continuing what you started, because when you came in, you made sure that staff that are on study leave and are studying in the university, in Federal University of Lafia, got waivers on their tuition fee. That was because people were running to other universities to get TED-Fund sponsorship and leaving the work here. And you appointed me to chair a committee where we discussed the issue of these 25 people. And it was very pathetic because they had sacrificed so much. Some of them were almost in tears. So what you did this morning today is wiping away the tears that those people were shedding when they came before that committee that you set up. Thank you very much for these actions. It shows you have a human face to your leadership. Thank you very much. For the deans, you know, when you are a dean, it's a big title. But the truth of the matter is that you are only first among equals. Sometimes you are not even first among equals. You are first among some that are better than you. Like my acting dean is an associate professor, so he cannot say he's better than us professors. But when you are appointed to such a position, it takes humility. It takes knowing that it's a privilege to sit on that seat. Any other person can be there. Is that study the regulations, study the scheme of service, study the rules that are put in place from time to time, so that your actions can be based on what is tenable, what is fair, and where there is no regulation guiding that, then you seek clearance. This is where people like Wando become dictionary for you. What is the definition of this? What is the meaning of this? And when you consult, you can never go wrong. For those who got the letters, congratulations. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, sir. And finally, the Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Academic Affairs, Professor Shehu.
Vice-Chancellor, Federal University of Lafia, Professor Shehu Abdul Rahman, Deputy Vice-Chancellors, the Registrar, the Librarian, the new Dean of Deans, the newly appointed Deans and Deputy Deans, professors here present, my colleagues, good morning to every one of us again. First, let me say congratulations to the newly appointed deans and deputy deans of various faculties, the elected ones also. I want to thank the Vice-Chancellor for being a listening and considerate leader. I also want to appreciate ASU for being persistent but civil in all her actions. To the new deans and their deputies, I just have a couple of advice. I will not repeat what others have said, but I want to say that please carry everybody along. The elections have come and they have gone. Do not think of those who voted and those who did not vote. Invest in the departments, for their success is your success. The growth of the departments under you is your growth. So invest in individuals, invest in the department. The person you think is least qualified, be it a rank, a size, or age, could be a wellspring of idea for you. So make sure everyone is important. You give everyone value and respect. Secondly, Professor Duga talked about you being appointed here and showing humility. One of the ways you can check yourself, when you go back today, open a Word page in your laptop and type out my handover note. Start from today. When you put up that page, it will remind you that you will not be on that seat forever. It will remind you that you have a time, a specific time to make an impact and a positive impact. It will remind you that you will leave and someone else will come because someone else was there. It will be a check for you. One of your very first assignments is already waiting for you on your table from the Office of the Academic, the DVC Academic Affairs. If you get to your table and you don't see it, please ask your predecessor. One of the things you're to do, Professor Kwandong made mention of it. What is your plan for the new session? That's where you should start from. What do you envisage for your faculty, for the departments? That memo is waiting for you on the table. Please, before the Vice-Chancellor makes his final decision and conclusion on how many days that will come to work, please kindly answer the memo and submit. And finally, on a lighter note, if you're still analog, please go digital, upgrade, because when you have to be at home, you will have to communicate with your students. And we have those who do not answer their calls, who do not text messages, who do not check their WhatsApp platform. It will be very, very important that you kindly upgrade yourself and the knowledge of using the internet. Once again, congratulations to all of you, and to the newly promoted ASU members. Much is expected of you. A lot has been invested in you. Please do not disappoint. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Mr. Vice-Chancellor will take in the last message, except if you have any other thing to say. I would like to say we've come to the end of this very interesting inauguration ceremony this morning. Can we please again put our hands together for the Vice-Chancellor and all the people. And once again, congratulations to all of us who are here for the benefits that we got this morning. And on that note, I would like to invite, I will close this inauguration ceremony with prayers as follows.